Although GoPro still dominates the action camera market, Insta360 really stepped up their game with the One RS. These are two very different devices with their own strengths, weaknesses, quirks, and there's plenty of unique features in each of them. If you're struggling to decide between the two, then keep watching and let's get to it. Insta360 One RS versus GoPro Hero 10 Black. We'll start with the cost. At the time of creating this video, the Insta360 One RS 4K edition will set you back around $300. That's around $150 cheaper than the GoPro Hero 10 Black straight away. Yes, you get extra modes and options with the GoPro, and the brand name of course, but that's quite a cost difference straight off the bat. And if you want 360 capture, the One RS comes in with its twin edition with a 360 module for $550. Whereas with GoPro, you'll need to pick up a completely separate unit, the GoPro Max, and end up spending almost double that over the One RS. Nevertheless, let's move on to the design though. Although most action cameras are fairly similar in design, the Hero 10 and the One RS couldn't be more different. The Hero 10 features a large rear screen covering most of the body and a small front-facing screen. It has a built-in mount and a large protruding lens, which is replaceable, mind, making it reasonably compact and very easy to use. On the other hand, the Insta360 One RS is a modular camera. It can be taken apart into 3 pieces and you are able to replace the lens to allow you to shoot different types of videos, so you're not locked into one point of view. In the twin pack, you receive a 4K boost lens and a 360 lens. The 4K boost lens is similar to the GoPro Hero and it shoots standard flat action footage, whereas the 360 lens of course captures 360 videos and photos which are lower quality but allow you to get very creative with your final project and angle the camera around later in post. Saying that, whereas the GoPro has that handy built-in mount, the One RS requires a completely separate housing in order to use a mount for accessories. This is the more unique and complicated design of the two, but it allows the One RS to essentially be 2 cameras in one. However, taking apart and reconstructing the camera can be a tad tedious, especially since the camera needs to be taken out of this when you want to replace the lens. By far the best aspect of the Hero 10 design is the large rear screen. It's extremely responsive and large enough to be able to select the various options quickly and easily. By contrast, the screen on the One RS is under half the size, which can make selecting small icons pretty difficult, and I've often selected the wrong option. The front-facing screen on the Hero 10 is also very useful. It allows you to shoot selfie videos and see exactly what you're shooting. The One RS can also have a forward-facing screen, but you need to take the camera apart and turn the screen around to achieve it. A feat that's a little more annoying considering you have to use the case too. Internally, both the One RS and the Hero 10 have a new processor compared to their last versions. In the GoPro, this new processor allows for faster frame rates at higher resolutions, as well as excellent color technology, while the One RS processor allows for live zoom while recording as well as faster power on cycles. Overall, the Hero 10 has the easier to use and more practical design, but the unique modular design on the One RS allows it to shoot much more varied types of media, as well as making it easily upgradable in future by only upgrading the parts you actually need to rather than the entire camera. Obviously, both of these cameras are primarily designed to shoot video. The One RS can shoot 4K video with its boost lens, as well as 5.7K 360 video with the 360 lens. There is also an option for a 1-inch lens available which can shoot 5.3K video at 30 frames per second, although that comes at an extra cost too. Frame rate options for the One RS 4K boost lens include 4K at 60, 2.7K at 100, and 1080p at 200 frames per second. There is also a 6K cinematic mode with a 2:35:1 aspect ratio, although strangely that only goes up to 25 frames per second. Although the Hero 10 can't match that 6K, it does shoot 5.3K at 60, even 4K right up to 120, and 2.7K at 240 frames per second. Although the One RS has multiple lenses, its 4K boost lens is the most comparable with the Hero 10, so we'll concentrate on that moving forward. So the One RS 4K lens has a lower maximum resolution than the Hero 10, although it does have a larger sensor in its lens. The half-inch sensor is twice the size of the Hero 10 sensor, as well as a larger aperture too. And larger sensors usually mean better overall quality. Looking at side-by-side examples, it's pretty obvious that there are some differences in quality, colour and sharpness between the two. Video shot with the Hero 10 seems to be sharper, likely due to the higher resolution, but having said that, the colours and dynamic range of the One RS footage is better in my opinion. However, colours are usually a matter of taste, so it's whatever suits you and your shooting scenario. I just felt the colours in the One RS shots are particularly more vibrant, but overall softer. When shooting in darkened conditions with the One RS, the camera tends to boost the ISO very high to compensate, which results in more noise and overexposed footage. This could probably be somewhat fixed by using manual mode, but for the sake of this review, I kept everything on auto to provide the closest comparison. Where the One RS does shine though is with its active HDR mode. This is new to the One RS. It's actually the first action camera that offers it, and it really does make a difference, delivering great levels of dynamic range and bringing out details from shaded areas in brightly lit conditions. In fact, it's fast making its way towards being my go-to mode when shooting in bright daylight conditions, and it works exceptionally well. Both the Insta360 One RS and the GoPro Hero 10 have a cinematic mode, although they approach this type of shot in a different way. The One RS cinematic mode boosts the resolution to 6K, however this is restricted to an aspect ratio of 2:35:1, so you'll get the black bars top and bottom, and only at 25 frames per second. Saying that, the Hero 10 cinematic mode isn't too different from the standard mode, apart from changing the frame rate to 24 frames per second. As both of these cameras are action cameras, it's important they handle lots of movement. Thankfully, both of them have advanced software that keeps your footage smooth. The One RS features Insta360's flow state stabilization, which is now built into and processed in camera, rather than relying on external software, and the Hero 10 has HyperSmooth 4. Both stabilization software work extremely well in even the most challenging circumstances, and when comparing the Hero 10 and the One RS 4K boost lens, there isn't much of a difference when it comes to keeping videos smooth. The Hero 10 does seem to have this skill mastered a touch better, and does appear a tad smoother, but if you had the One RS alone, you really wouldn't be missing much at all, since it performs exceptionally well. When it comes to audio capture, the One RS now comes with an extra microphone, helping it to capture good levels of audio, which are certainly more than usable in video projects. But the GoPro Hero 10 does still have the edge here, with crisper and clearer overall capture. If I had to choose between both, the Hero 10 comes out on top in the audio department, although it is a close call. Moving on, while neither of these cameras are designed with photos in mind, they do have some decent photography capabilities. The GoPro is at a disadvantage here with lower resolution 23 megapixel images, as well as a smaller sensor than the One RS 4K lens. The One RS, on the other hand, can also shoot auto HDR images called PureShot, or DNG RAW images at a very large 48 megapixel resolution. Overall, the One RS is the better photography camera for sure, merely by the number of photo options available, both in the camera and the editing app. With that said, compared to a top-end smartphone, you may find these cameras slightly lacking, so don't expect either of these to replace an iPhone, for instance. While much attention is paid to the hardware of modern cameras, it's the software that can also make or break a device. In this case, there are pros and cons for both the Insta360 and GoPro. While the Hero 10 is a powerhouse with its GP2 chip, it's prone to random crashes, and it's always at the worst possible time too. The One RS is much more stable in this regard. In fact, I've yet to experience any software issues with this camera at all. Also note that Insta360 are known for regular, consistent firmware updates, not just for fixing critical issues, but also to develop and add additional features on top of the existing ones. The One R, for example, had more than 10 updates in the first 18 months following release, adding features like new color profiles, horizon leveling, improved camera UI, and loop recording, to name just a few. On the other hand, GoPro camera firmware updates remain pretty much the same on launch and almost only get some small improvements to correct critical flaws, which are generally few and far between. Both also have accompanying smartphone apps, of course. The One RS is powered by the Insta360 app, which is probably the best mobile editing app I've used. It's packed with literally dozens of features, automatic editing modes, a full manual editor, color corrector, and much more. Oh, and also note you can live preview while recording. a function that is not supported on the Hero 10 at all. In comparison, the Hero 10 is backed up by the GoPro Quick app, which is a more streamlined experience. Like the Insta360 app, the Quick app does feature automatic editing and video editing tools, but lacks some of the more advanced features. Compared to the Insta360 app, it's reasonably basic, but works consistently and it's easy to use. Insta360 also have good desktop software too. If used though, you do need to render your videos from your camera using the desktop software, adding a rather annoying extra step to get your videos ready for editing. Again, many of the options are focused on editing 360 videos, whereas GoPro seems to have completely given up on their desktop software, moving more towards the app over anything else. Both cameras also have a range of optional accessories, although the Insta360 range are generally more affordable. The microphone adapter, for instance. Not only is it more compact than GoPro's chunky version, it also costs less than half the price too. There's even a quick reader, kinda like an external drive of sorts that you can record directly onto and attach to a smartphone for editing without using any wireless transfers at all. A great selection of accessories overall. So in essence, these are two awesome devices, it has to be said. The GoPro Hero 10 is a big step up from the Hero 9 and feels like the premium camera it's marketed as. It's undeniable that it can shoot beautiful video at both high frame rates and resolutions. The stabilization works near perfectly, and the dual screen design makes it very easy to use. For professional level use, it's still the one I'd reach out for. Saying that, the One RS is a whole other kettle of fish. It's varied and versatile. In fact, it's two different cameras in one system. 3 actually if you include the 1-inch lens. It just seems more innovative and it's certainly more suited to those who really want to get creative with their shots. If we just compare the One RS 4K boost lens and the Hero 10, then the GoPro does edge out on top, mostly because of the higher resolutions and frame rates on offer. However, GoPro's excellent color technology also plays a big role. But then consider that the One RS also has the 360 capability, which adds almost unlimited creative potential. If you're not at all interested in shooting 360 media, then the Hero 10 still sets the benchmark. However, anyone who is interested in the super fun aspect of 360 video, alongside standard POV shots, should definitely check out the One RS.